Wall Street mentality is to capitalize on this opportunity and see it as something that you can make a ton of money on. I'm going to go through it with you guys in more detail to save you guys from becoming market sell-side liquidity. You want to start looking at any single major news event as a quiet wealth transfer. Now, there has been, throughout time and history, always geopolitical distractions. We are isolated with news 24/7, and it's just because we have the internet and we can see it in real time. However, you should really look behind the narrative and see what's actually going on with the crisis and how smart money, which is who we follow, is positioning themselves during this crisis. Chasing oil is one of the, in my opinion, dumb decisions. We look at 1991, Gulf War, oil spiked to 46, suffered the biggest single day drop. As an investor, I want to help you so that you don't suffer these mistakes of typical retail mentality. Because the other thing too is when you're chasing oil stocks, Wall Street already knows ahead of time and you can see it in the charts, and I can help you with that. My background as an ex-finance lead for GE, I always am looking for the narrative and questioning it. Wall Street is always the biggest issue. There's a few things. When you start looking at the charts and taking a look at all of these things as opportunity. The Fed is printing $225 billion in the last year alone, and it's devaluing our currency and artificially inflating asset prices, which is the reason why you're seeing the stock market rise as well as housing prices. However, there's also they're leveraging quantitative easing, which is a relatively new instrument since 2008. You want to look at in obtaining assets, and that is your goal in order to beat inflation, is to gain assets. A lot of gurus will say hoard gold. However, I have very large reservations with gold and silver just because they always can make retail exit market liquidity. However, big banks have so much money, they don't care. And I'm going to protect you from that. Defense stocks. We always say that too. However, they already know, and you need to be able to identify it on the charts. So all in all, do not be exit liquidity. Do not panic sell because the real money is made. Wall Street wants you to panic sell and purchase up all those assets at a discount. They sell the fear, and those who do not buy the panic are going to be left holding a whole lot of nothing. Right now, we are looking at the Qs, QQQ, and I have a systematic approach. I will only buy the indexes at every single 10% correction. Now, here's the thing too. Even if it drops more, I don't care. I have a system and I do it every single time. Retail will always get scared and think, oh, but it might drop more. However, you want to take the opportunity right in front of you. And that's how I'm going to help you. We're hosting a live masterclass in a few weeks, and you can ask me all these questions regarding how I manage my portfolio, how I look at investing, how I trade. We're going to go all through with it. Now, QQQ, if you're looking at this right now, we have not really done much of anything. November, we have been sideways doing nothing. Now, we are down about 6.6%, but again, still consolidating in a range. And the Bollinger Bands are also tightening, which means we are bracing for a move, and I don't know which way. However, in my opinion, I think we're more so towards the downside versus the upside because we have not even touched the 20 MA and not been able to break through it in the past 3 weeks. The Qs are obviously compiled of several stocks. Nvidia, Microsoft, and Google are the ones that I'm going to be going over today in more detail. Let's go. Nvidia. Right now, there's analyst targets saying that its fair value is going to be targeting at 260. On top of that, we have been in a range for about, oh my goodness, it would be since last October. And this is on the daily chart. And as you can see, we've been consolidating a range at 20%. Another thing I want to observe, right now we have several touch points where I have dotted as an alert. I want to make sure and seize on the opportunity because I am not retail mentality. Automatically, if we break through the support, I do see us going down further, which would be next level 164.11. One of the things I want to mention is we have a support here and we have touched it 3 times now. One thing to note, when stocks touch several times to an area, they are gravitating towards that level. Now let's pull it up even further. If we look at the chart on the monthly time frame, Nvidia, as you can see, has been in a range and it's trying to figure out what the heck it's going to do. Typical retail mentality is, oh, I'm going to wait for the opportunity. I own a lot of Nvidia and at a pretty low price. I have it at like 120s. Now I'm going to sit and wait. However, there's opportunity coming for me to add more. And I want to. Why do I want to add to Nvidia? Well, because for instance, the 4 PE is 23.1. Historically, super cheap for Nvidia. It's usually often trading at 40. This is a discount. When you are investing into assets, purely talking investing, you want to buy assets at fair value and take the opportunity right in front of you. Most of retail is typically too scared, but this is the part where Wall Street realizes they want retail to unload everything so they can purchase it in discount. And you want to invest properly, and that's how I'm going to help you. Microsoft, we have significant risk to reward. We pull this up, it is down about 30% from the lows. Right now it's probably a little bit less, but trading at 404 as of this time of this recording. OpenAI narrative has pretty much pummeled all the software stocks. Microsoft is a cash machine. They are killing it in the Azar cloud world. On top of that, they are the leader of business software companies. I was in, X Finance Lead. We used always, every single company that I used always used Microsoft, Teams, Outlook. That is not going away. And we're seeing it now. Finally, we found a floor. It looks like, major support 382. And why is that? Because you can see buyers were swooping up right at this level. We're retesting it now. Your risk to reward profile is significant. You have little risk here, right? And then reward is up to the 550s. On top of that, we have a trailing PE of 24.9 and a forward PE of 22.7. And this is significantly cheaper. And this is probably the most value compared to the other big tech stocks. This has the, in my opinion, one of the best. Now let's talk about Google. We are in correction territory, especially given that the narrative for OpenAI has changed. Now stocks that are disassociated with OpenAI are tending to be a lot stronger. And we can actually see this with obviously Google. Even if you pull up Apple, it has not dropped nearly as much as, for instance, Microsoft, AMD. Any stock that has associated with OpenAI, they're already in a bear market. Now, let's go back to analysis of Google. Right now it's trading for GOOGL, is trading at 302 at the market timing, and it's down about close to 16%. However, it has a forward PE of 22.1. This is a fair value. And estimates are that fair value for Google is around $340 per share. So there is upside. A lot of these valuations that are being put, they're not even including Waymo. Waymo is not even included in this valuation, which is a very big portion that I think a lot of people forget. Google owns every single part of the supply chain because they are also creating their own chips, which is a vertical integration, and they are able to capitalize and have better margins than any other company. Let's just think about it. Google has so much data on us. Every single time you are searching something, they are collecting data. You are on YouTube right now, which is the second most search engine in the world. They're also collecting data. In order to improve AI and algorithms, they need data, which they have tons of at their own free will. And that's the reason why I believe Google is one of the best. And I heavily bought into Google at the time when the fear narrative, overall Wall Street was search is dead and everything. I purchased it and I even showed timestamps of it because I know Google, in my opinion, is going to be one of the winners, and it's already showcasing that. Now I have alerts set because we have relative equal lows for Google right now. What does relative equal lows mean? If you pull it up on the chart, you can see we have touched this point and we are meeting that. That is what a relative equal low is. If you do not have Google in your portfolio and you want to start, this is a good starter position. And then you start adding on every single individual level, which I have set alerts at. Now there's a little, if you really zoom in, there's a baby gap right there. Gap literally means there is literally a gap when the stock moved up. And if you really see it, there is one right there. And I set alerts there because price will tend to eventually fill the gaps. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does. On occasion, I would love to add purchasing of Google right there because it would even be a better discount. Thing is, at the end of the day, Wall Street wants you to unload everything so that they can load up their warehouses and distribute. If you are a savvy investor and you want to accumulate assets and grow wealth, you have to purchase things at a discount and understand fear is opportunity. Smart investors and traders are aware of the environment as well as aware of the macro pieces. They have fundamental discipline and fair value execution and know how to execute. If you want to learn more, we're hosting a live masterclass where you can also ask me every single question that you had, because I also want to help you guys understand to not become market sell-side liquidity. The media sells fear, and we at Trader Foundation look at it as opportunity and capitalize on it. If you're ready to create financial independence just like myself, join us at Trader Foundation and also join the live masterclass that we're going to be hosting with myself and Vlad, and we'll be able to go through everything together.